Okay, so this is a behind the scenes. I'm off to a great start already. This is a back-end look at how X-Ray Serp version 2 handles manual overlay. X-Ray Serp version 2 does not have any of the fancy stuff, the PayPal, the free trial, none of the frills. And so it's a one-time fee, and you get the manual overlay for post, pages, categories, and whole site, and then you also get a little, like an info bar at the bottom that you could do. So now I'm going to go through this. I'm not going to take, like tons of time explaining all the ins and outs and stuff. Basically, you already know how it works, and you just want to see what this particular version of X-Ray Serp looks like. So that's what this is. It's just going to be a quick walkthrough so you can get an idea if it fits in with your SEO business. So we have one page of settings. X-Ray Serp version 2 and also version 3 don't use the post and page metadata saving that WordPress will use like on every single particular page. I think it's Double Agent does it that way. And that's very easy if you're somebody that's only renting out, like 1 or 2 pages on your site, because you can track that kind of stuff really easy. You know what pages it is, and then there's all your settings. X-Ray Serp kind of looks at it from the view that you're doing this as part of a larger enterprise. And so it pulls all of your, version 2 pulls all of your pages, your posts, your categories, your whole site overlay, and it puts it all on one page so that you can get to everything right here. So if I had 10,000 pages, I would be seeing a list of 50 pages here and then the pagination down at the bottom. And I could tab through and I could do this and do that. X-Ray Serp version 3 has the ability to search for pages, which is very handy. But anyway, so X-Ray Serp pulls all of this data into one central settings page so that you can get to it all at once. Now, going through our settings one by one, we have at the top master overlay. This is a whole site overlay. So if you are renting out your website manually to the whole site to a client, and they're paying a premium to get like the whole site, this is where you put it. You save the URL right here. Don't forget the http:// and then you click save. And this URL right here is going to be on your whole website. And notice, unless manual override is active, and we have our manual override boxes down here. So if we check one of these, then one of these pages, whichever ones we have checked, are going to override the setting here. And that's kind of handy if we have like a contact page that we need to have not being overlaid. So whole site overlay, that's right here. We have our pages, our posts, and then I don't have any categories. This is a new demo WordPress site that I got set up. So I don't have any categories yet. But categories would show up right down here at the underneath the per post section, and it would function exactly the same way as these. Okay, it's going to look the same. You're going to have the column for the title, column for the page slug, column for the overlay URL, column for the manual override, column for the ID. It's going to look exactly the same, and it's going to operate all the same. So I'm just going to breeze through these settings and what these are pretty quick and give you an overview. So we have in our left-hand column, we have our title. Now this is what you name the page in your edit page. So if we go through here, this is a WordPress edit page. We have a quick link in X-Ray Serp, and that's this bit right here. So that's shown up right there. Okay, so we got that, or this one, and then that's what the public sees. We have our page slug, and this is the page that has all of our content on it that Google is going to be indexing. Notice, Google sees this one. Now, Google sees both of them, obviously. There's nothing that gets past Google, but this is the one here. This URL is the one that Google is going to be indexing. So your header tags, your image tags, your article content, sidebars, silos, all of that stuff on this page is going to be indexed. This is your index column on your local site. And then this one here is going to be the one that's kind of the front end for the public to see. So if you're renting out pages on a per post basis, you enter your URL here, and then you click save. And it's a good idea if you got it rented out and it's active to hit manual override, just so you don't accidentally save this one or something by mistake and get some angry client. But that goes right here. This is the one that people are going to see. This is the one that Google is going to crawl here. And our manual override box, a quick note on this before I go through the rest of it. Manual override bumps the priority of whatever page is checked, whichever one of these is checked, manual override will bump the priority of that right up to the top, on a basis from smallest to widest kind of setting. So it's going to start looking for posts, then it's going to look for pages, then it's going to look for categories, and then it's going to look for a whole site overlay. So if you have that not checked, let's say you have this page rented out with a URL saved here, and this checkbox is not checked, then when you save this URL here, all of these pages, even if you have a URL saved, all of these pages are going to be overridden by the whole site overlay. And so that's what manual override is there for. If you have a whole site that's rented out, but you want a contact page to stay on top, as it were, you check the box and then you save it, and that one is going to be bumped to the top. And then if we save a URL here, this overlay is going to be bumped to the top. So basically, what this does in the pages and the posts boxes is it's going to force this page to show up with these settings. And whether we have a URL here, it's going to show this one, or if we don't have a URL here, it's going to show this one. So manual override kind of bumps the page out of the usual flow of how the overlay works, so that one's always going to be seen regardless. And then we have, if I had categories saved here, and categories would work the same way, except they would be a priority step lower than per posts. So if we had a category checked, categories would bump out of this one too if we had a URL up here, except in the cases of when we had the manual override enabled for individual posts. So X-Ray Serp gives a priority to posts and pages, then it gives priority to categories, and then it goes with the rest of the settings for the site. And that's the basic overlay of overview of how things work. It's very simple and it's very easy to use, and you get it, you play around with it, you'll pick it up right away. And if you don't, jump into the Facebook group and shoot me a question. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Usually it's just a few hours and you have an answer. And then the last feature, we have our contact bar. This is one that we carried over from X-Ray Serp version 1, or like version 0.1 or something. And so I'm just going to paste that demo in there and we can see what that does. And that's going to put a contact bar up at the top. Now, the contact bar will accept very basic HTML, like an anchor tag. So you could wrap this in an anchor tag and tell it, tap to call, and that would be a tap to call link on a smartphone, or some fancy desktops if they have that enabled. If you just wanted this to be a link, like click here, you could wrap that in an HTML anchor tag, and that would be a clickable link up here. And a quick note, it is responsive. So that's the basic overlay of how it works, and I hope it answered some of your questions, gave you an overview for what the back end looks like. And now you can go in and you compare this video with what our X-Ray Serp version 3 behind the scenes videos look like, and you can see if it's something that works for you. And feature requests, you can always shoot me up and let me know if you want to see something roll out. So I hope that was helpful, and I will see you later.